All right, so Chapter 5, Part 2. When we left off, remember Kasha had just been called out by the official, and she was told that they know that there was another face that showed up on her microcard, and she is still matched with Xander. And she gave Kasha permission to tell one person what happened. Who is the one person? Her grandfather, yep. So now she's going back inside the game center. There are so many of us inside the game center. It is hot and humid in the room, reminding me of the tropical ocean simulation we had in science once, the one about the coral reefs that teemed with fish before the warming killed them all. I taste sweat and breathe water. Someone bumps into me as an official makes an announcement over the main speaker. The crowd goes quiet to listen. Someone has dropped their tablet container. Please stand completely still and do not speak until we locate it. Everyone stops immediately. I hear the clatter of dice and a soft thud as someone, perhaps Xander, puts down a game piece. Then, all is quiet. No one moves. A lost container is a serious matter. I look at a girl near me and she stares back at me, wide-eyed, open-mouthed, frozen in place. I think again of that ocean simulation, how the instructor paused it in the middle to explain something, and the fish projected around the room stared back at us, unblinking, until she switched the simulation back on. We all wait for the switch to be thrown, for the instructor to tell us what comes next. My mind begins to wander, to escape this place where all holds still. Are there other unknown aberrations standing here in this room, swimming in this water? Water. I recall another memory of water, real this time, and a day when Xander and I were 10. Back then we had more free recreation time, and in the summers we almost always spent it at the swimming pool. Xander liked to swim in the blue chlorinated water. I liked to sit on the pockmarked cement side of the pool and swish my feet back and forth before I went in. That's what I was doing when Xander appeared next to me, a worried look on his face. "I've lost my tablet container," he told me quietly. I glanced down to make sure that mine was still hooked to my swimwear. It was. Its metal clip snapped securely to the strap over my left shoulder. We'd had our tablet containers for a few weeks, and at that point they contained one tablet, the first one, the blue one, the one that can save us, the one with enough nutrients to keep us going for several days if we have water, too. There was plenty of water in the pool. That was the problem. How was Xander ever going to find the container? "It's probably underwater," I said. "Let's get the lifeguard to clear the pool." "No," Xander said, his jaw set. "Don't tell them. They'll cite me for losing it. Don't say anything. I'll find it." Carrying our own tablets is an important step toward our own independence. Losing them is the same as admitting we aren't ready for the responsibility. Our parents carry our tablets for us until we are old enough to take them over, one by one. First the blue when we are 10, then when we turn 13, the green one, the one that calms us if we need calming. And when we're 16, the red one, the one we can only take when a high-level official tells us to do so. So now we know what some of the tablets do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's the green one do? Calms them. What's the blue one do? Nutrition, yeah. It gives you nutrition to keep you going. So if you have water, you could keep going without anything else. At first, I tried to help Xander, but the chlorine always hurt my eyes. I dove, and then when my eyes burned so much I could barely see, I climbed back onto the cement next to the pool and tried to look beneath the sun-bright surface of the water. None of us wears a watch when we are small. Time is kept for us, but I still knew. I knew that he had been under the water much longer than he should. I'd measured it out in heartbeats, and in the slap of the waves against the side of the pool as one person, then another dove in. Did he drown? For a moment I was blinded by sunlight slanting off the water. White and paralyzed by my fear, which felt white too. But then I stood up and drew a deep breath into my lungs to scream to the world, "Xander's under the water! Save him! Save him!" Before my scream was born, a voice I didn't know asked, "Is he drowning?" "I can't tell," I said, tearing my eyes away from the water. A boy stood next to me, tanned skin, dark hair, a new boy. That was all I had time to notice before he vanished. slipping under the surface in one quick motion. A pause, a few more slaps of the waves against the cement, and Xander's head popped up above the water. He grinned triumphantly at me, holding the waterproof case. "Got it," he said. "Xander," I said, relieved. "Are you all right?" "Of course," he said, the confident light back in his eyes. "Why would you think I wouldn't be?" "You were under so long that I thought you were drowning," I admitted. "And so did that boy." Suddenly I panicked. Where'd the other boy go? He had not come up for air. "What boy?" Xander asked, puzzled. "He went searching for you, and then I saw him, below the blue, a shadow under the water." "He's right there. Is he drowning?" Just then the boy broke the surface of the water, coughing, his hair glistening. A red scrape, almost healed, but still noticeable, ran along his cheek. I did my best not to stare, not just because injuries are uncommon in a place where we are all so healthy and safe, but because he was unknown to me, a stranger. It took the boy a few moments to catch his breath again. When he did, he looked at me but spoke to Xander, saying, "You didn't drown." "No," agreed Xander. "You almost did, though." "I know," the boy said. "I meant to save you." He corrected himself. "I mean, to help you." "Don't you know how to swim?" I asked him. "I thought I did," the boy said, which made Xander and me laugh. The boy looked into my eyes and smiled. The smile seemed to surprise him. It surprised me, too, the warmth of it. The boy looked back at Xander. "She looked worried when you didn't come back up." "I'm not worried anymore," I said, relieved that everyone was safe. "Are you visiting someone?" I asked the boy, hoping he was staying for a long visit. I already liked him because he had wanted to help Xander. "No," said the boy, and though he still smiled, his voice sounded quiet and still like the water had become around us. He looked right at me. "I belong here." Now, my eyes fixed on the crowd in front of me. So now we switched back to real time with her at the game center again. I feel that same feeling of relief and release as I see a familiar face, someone who, until now, I had been desperately worried about, someone I must have thought had drowned or slipped or been pulled under and might never be seen again. Kai Markham is here, and he looks right at me. "Who's Kai again?"
The guy that got his father.
Yep, his father did something wrong, so he's an aberration.
Yeah.
And he is the other picture that appeared on her microcard. Without thinking, I take a step toward him. That's when I feel something burst beneath my foot. The lost tablet container has broken open, and everything it is supposed to protect has spilled out on the floor and been crushed under my foot. Blue, green, red. I stop in my tracks, but the movement has been noted. Officials swarm toward me, and the people near me draw breath and call out, "Over here, it's broken!" I have to turn away when an official takes my elbow and asks me what happened. When I look back at where Kai stood, he has disappeared, just like he did that day into the pool, just like his face did earlier on the port in my house.